Hello, everybody. This is your friendly neighborhood Shin with another public service announcement. But just in case you guys are having a hard time keeping this thing upright on your shelf, if you just flip, why won't you fall over? Alright, better. But as you can see right here, Biollante comes with a peg for a stand. So if you got any of these extra stands hanging around, just pop that bad boy in. And now look how much more stable it is. Yep, she's never gonna fall off your shelf. Ever again. Okay, seriously, why does it say have a peg for a stand? Guess I shouldn't be complaining about an $85 figure coming with extra things. It's gotta be for those dynamic flying poses you've seen in the movie. It's just gotta be. Okay, so we'll just sit her like so. And perfect. Okay, not so perfect.
Listen up, Rangers! Welcome to the Geek Chest. My name is Steve.
I'm just waiting for the box to... You son of a... My name is Arnes.
And today we have for you guys for a review of the Super7 Rose Biollante from Godzilla vs. Biollante. Main reason I picked this up is because there is not enough loving for Rose Biollante, and so it makes it a unique figure, startup of a new line. Figure,
hey,
kind of a must-buy at that point.
To get an SH Monster Arts Biollante, the price is crazy. So this...
And they don't even make a Rose.
Yeah.
So if you wanted, like, say, to pick this up to go with your Monster Arts, maybe?
Be a good idea.
Yeah.
So far.
And it's only $85.
$85 is not bad compared to some of the prices out there. So we'll see once we get into the... All right, we're just lying. You already know what our feelings are.
If you saw the previous review, we won't spoil it for you. So we'll just get into it. So without further ado, for the packaging, it's kind of like what we have with the Godzilla, where it's got the green kind of ripply skin look to it. Flat box, but it does have the appearance. You got the name of the movie on the back. Front of the package has the Kaiju name. And if you slot it open...
Teamwork this time.
I was going to say, we already had the one off. We could have just reused that one. But you would be able to see the figure inside of the packaging, which is almost where I recommend you leave the figure.
Which I was going to say, leave it in the box.
If you do plan on buying this. And then we also have the movie poster. Got the name. Got the little description there on the back. And that's pretty much it. So,
easy
we
peasy.
got her already opened up out of her cardboard prison. Ta-da!
No ta-da.
It's a Rose Biollante.
No ta-da, Steve. All right.
Oh, it actually stayed. It's been flopping over every time I try to pose it.
At least tell me it lights up, because its design of it looks like the stomach should light up, like it does in the movie.
All right, you're gonna be pleasantly surprised to find out.
I'm ready.
It does not light up.
What?
Crazy, I know. I almost kind of, for some reason, I was kind of thinking it might. But after looking up the pre-order again, it doesn't. It's just somewhere in my brain. I kind of thought it might have.
Look at this. It literally is designed for it to light up.
But hold up, it's squishy.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah, I feel it. It's squishy.
Oh, what the hell?
Also, I found out because I started doing that, I think I messed up the paint a little bit on the stomach. Kind of came off a little bit right there.
Where at?
Right there. You can kind of see it's not.
Oh, crap, yeah. Okay, don't squish it, please.
So, yeah, briefly don't want to do that. But anyways,
I got you.
First, yeah, this is posable, but hold up. There we go. It's staying.
Boom.
Because if you do this, oh, it's actually.
I
like that. I tried to prove a point, and it doesn't want to do it. And then when I started actually like giving up on it, it
does.
It finally tips. I will say some of the joints for the tentacles, vines, whatever you want to call them, they're a little loose. Nothing, I would say, super egregious or that isn't fixable. But what's kind of weird, and I want to start with the articulation before I get into all the accessories.
What's kind of weird is this is actually worse quality in details and paint than the Godzilla is. How's that even possible?
Well, to be fair, it's a giant plant with tentacles, so how much posability do you really need?
Okay, screw the posability. How about just the
What?
detailed lines? Like, you know, they all kind of blend in.
Hold on, we'll look for a closer look. Alright, so like I mentioned for the tentacles, what's kind of weird is you can rotate them, and then they're only on a hinge. So instead of a ball joint, which almost make more sense to me, you can only go up and down with them or
Wait,
rotate.
they hinged them up?
Yeah,
That's
so
it?
but it's only on these tentacles here. You get a hinge here, and then the rest of the tentacle, it's stagnant.
So it's not like
So the tentacle,
it's not like a wire where you can bend it or
no, it's a piece of plastic with a hinge on the end. So you can't detail, you don't really get any extra posability. I almost kind of wish it was a wire.
I would take that risk of that wire breaking and making it look bad. At least it would give you something.
Yeah, so it makes it, when you want to pose something, like for instance, you have this tentacle down here. You have to move the...
Oh my God.
That was terrifying. I will say these do pop out pretty easy, which I guess is a positive and a negative.
For about half
but that
a
doesn't
second.
really want to move. I'm going to have to heat this up in order to get it to pose, which is kind of something I would expect out of, say, like the NECA or some cheaper figures. Sometimes even you got to do them with the Monsters and the Hayas, but...
That sounded like it snapped, Steve.
I thought it did too.
Oh.
But I will say it's kind of loose. So it's a little weird trying to move these. Now what you can do if you really want to is...
Have it fall apart like Steve's.
As if it fall apart. But say if you wanted a different tentacle in a certain spot, you can swap these out.
Oh, at least I know why they put those leaves up there. They're like the tentacle stands, so you can kind of rest the tentacles on them, so they don't fall.
I say you could swap them around, but...
It won't let you.
I thought you could. I don't see why I couldn't.
Each tentacle has its different hole size and everything on it.
That's what I'm like... No, because like that one fit in. Why am I having a problem with this one?
Maybe you did break it in there.
Oh, it's just the angle I was going. Oh. So if you want to swap them, that's kind of how you get different posability, is you swap around the tentacles.
Okay, that's kind of like a neat idea, what they had going on with it. I
Yeah,
guess.
because then you could take like this big one, and what I almost recommend is moving it to the side here. So then you have all these little tentacles
In the back.
in the back.
For back scratchers.
Which I'm trying to figure out where I put that hole. So then, same with this other big one back here. You can move this one. Take this one out. Put it in. And then, wherever the hole was.
I almost feel like that meme where that guy walks and he's like, what the is this shit?
Right. Like I said, the only problem is like some of these, it just doesn't want to stick.
It's like dominoes. You like knock one down and they all start falling apart.
Yeah, so now you have like the tentacles in the back, and then it's got
Chompers
its
in
little
front.
heads in the front.
Actually, that's kind of a neat idea, honestly.
Yeah, like you could finesse it. Like you could swap these around, which might be a better idea. But the only thing I hate is that it also has hinges here. So where they're posable, you can only... God, I hate it. All right. So you can only go up and down, rotate at each one. And again, it would make more sense to me for it to be a ball joint, because it's almost at this point, because the way they got bending, it being stagnant almost would have been better.
You guys don't see the frustration of Steve's face as he's trying to work on this. It's great. Wait, do the mouths open in these ones? Give up, Steve.
Hold up. We're going to put it on a higher one so I don't have to deal with this hole anymore. There we go. All right, so that one's in. That one's in. All right, cool. So, yes, you can pose these ones.
Neat.
They do open and close.
That's a step in progress.
So you can get the biting. So like I say, you can kind of get them to the front. At least it kind of reminds me more of an action figure at that point. It just makes the back look a little less boring, but like I mentioned, it makes moving these things so much easier if you have them towards the front. So again, you kind of get posability, but you got to get creative with your posability. It's the same with the head. You can... Like I said, I don't know if it could just be mine, but it is everything's loose on this one, which I would rather have it be loose than super tight and be afraid to break things. Because swapping out the heads, because you get an open mouth rose face.
Which is neat.
Which
I like
the
the
back.
rose face.
The petals here, they are dry brush, so it's dark green with the light green dry brushing. And then you get closed mouth, which pops right on.
Oh my god.
I think I have it upside down. There we go. So you can do that. And then it has technically a joint here too.
So it's like same as Godzilla's pretty much.
Yeah, debatable. These are also on hinges too. So you can kind of move the pedals up and down too if you need to. Depending on how you want to move them. Well, at least those two. This one feels like it's fused. You can move that one. So they're all opposable except for that one there.
Yours actually kind of, the head pops off very easily.
Oh, yeah, super easy. So that's your articulation. For its other accessories, it comes with ripped off vine, which oddly enough is painted differently than the figure.
I didn't notice that. I was going to ask you about that, but I didn't want to be like, well, I'm just blind.
Because for the figure here, it's like dark green with a green, light green wash. Or it's dark green dry brush with light green plastic. But anyways, the dark green is on the top. Light green is on the recess.
There's just one color.
This, on the other hand, is the opposite. It's dark green with lighter green dry brushing. So it's dark green on the recess. So this looks darker than this does. And it's a little strange. Oh, then again, looking at the tentacle here, they almost look the same, at least at this point. But it's like a contrast between the body. Like, it looks much darker than the way the body's presented. But you have the little ripped off stem here. So if you want, like, Godzilla holding onto it, wherever he went.
Trash can, hopefully.
You want to take your Godzilla, have him holding on. Godzilla, don't make me a liar. There you go.
Oh, you know what the neat thing is with the hand in a hole? You can put one of these through there.
Yeah. Now, if I didn't put all of them on the back, we'll get there eventually. God, there's other tentacles grabbing the thing, but see,
yeah, that's actually kind of cool.
you can do it. Like I said, you gotta get a little creative with the posability, and then it also comes with these little nubs.
What are the nubs for?
So what you can
Oh, where it got ripped off. Gotcha.
Yeah. So
Something
you can.
fell off.
It's a tentacle.
Oh.
So you could take it off at the base of the tentacle here, and then
Boom.
swap it out. Now it's got a damaged, and now you have this extra one.
Okay, I really like the...
I almost kind of wish they would have made these where you could pop it off and swap it out here.
Oh, yeah.
Because then you could have put one. You could have used one of these to put through Godzilla's hand.
Oh, back scratcher.
So then it would have an extra accessory for Godzilla. You would have been able to keep all the heads on. Plus, if somebody really wanted to get creative with some sticky tack, could have done something. But it would have made it look like it had more of the mouths on it.
Yeah.
And I think that would have been a better idea than having to swap out the one with the mouth to...
I do like the whole idea of what they're going with so far is how they're like, both of the figures make a complete set, you know what I mean?
Yeah, so anyways, I'm going to start popping these off because it's going to be easier for me to go over the detailing. But like I said, all the tentacles, at least on this one, fairly easy to remove. Like we mentioned for the body, it is a light green with a dark green dry brushing over top, or it could be a wash. It's kind of hard to tell. But there is dark green and light green in between the detailing on the body. You have the orange sack in the center with a little bit of yellow for the airbrushing around the center here. Like I mentioned, it is squishy, but do be careful because it seems like the paint comes off pretty easy there. The petals are dark green with a lot of light green for the dry brushing. The rose is just red. Teeth are a nice bone color. And that's pretty much it. It's got the look of Rose Biollante. I think my biggest complaint is this feels super hollow.
It's very light compared to Godzilla.
Yeah, I was going to say, this thing feels like it weighs as much as a brick. Like, this thing's got a few pounds to it. It's a pretty hefty action figure. This and this Monster Arts feel about the same.
That's kind of sad.
And even when I have all the tentacles on, it's not like it increases the weight that much. So, personally, it feels a little cheaper because it is hollow. So, with it being hollow, I think they should have maybe done something with a gimmick. Or we're able to make better use of the inside.
It's already hollow. They should have just added a light to it.
Yeah, because even with the base, I don't think it would have been that much. And at the price point, because it's the same size as the Godzillas, there isn't enough here for the articulation or the accessories to make me feel like they both should have been the same price.
Yeah.
Especially with the half. So I think a light up feature almost would have been a must to kind of merit the price.
If we were thinking Godzilla was $50, this guy should have been $34.
Yeah, but anyways, for comparisons.
And for quick comparisons, here we have the Super 7 Biollante compared next to the other Super 7 Godzilla and the Triple K SH Monster Arts Godzilla in 1989. Who, both of these, I would say, don't scale pretty well, if I'm going to be honest. Now, for some that do scale really well, we have the NECA and the SH Monster Arts 89, which it's kind of sad that I almost feel like this as a vibe just works better with the NECA for me than like everything else that's come out. And here it is with the only other Super 7 that I own, the Tyrannosaurus Dinozord. And we have the Haya Godzilla 2021. And here are some comparisons too big for my review table with the Violator from McFarlane Toys, the Mega figure, and the NECA Gargoyle Ultimates Broadway, who's kind of being covered up by a vine at the moment. Another comparison I think is a little bit more fitting for these is actually the Treadmasters. We have the big Godzilla here from the King of the Monsters wave, and then the Biollante, which I almost kind of wish, if they do more or want to branch out a bit, I would love for them to do a fully articulated version of like this Biollante. Because the cool thing if they did these is they don't have to scale, which would be nice for them. So all the monsters could be the same size because they were in the original Treadmaster line, so it wouldn't really make sense to scale them like the normal monsters would be. Could, but you don't have to. Then I think it just like a design like this just would make for a very cool, unique, articulated figure. Instead of giving me something that looks more like an old figure, or like, instead of giving me something that looks more like something from the actual movie but feels more like these, I want something like these that feel more like action figures of today.
Alright, so overall for the Rose Biollante, I wouldn't recommend this thing.
Man, I just posted this and look at people commenting.
No, I was just saying. Comment from Gojira Fan 03, not to trash talk you or anything, but it's not awful, but the paint could use a slight touch up. Not wrong. Grant, I don't think it's good. Yeah, a lot of people are like, it could use a paint job. And personally for me, I think it needs a little bit more still for me to really merit that 85. Because even if this thing had, for instance, for the rose petal here, if it would have had a darker red wash to it to give it a little added coloring, a little bit better contrast in the body to give it a little, again, better coloring. The green not just being solid green to give it a little bit of contrast. I still think this thing needed more stuff to merit $85.
They had ways of making this where it would have been worth $85. Like you said, literally just a paint job, and I would have been okay with this whole like design of it.
Nah, I need a light. I need like it needs a light up feature or something.
No, oh god, no, that's standard. We're talking about right now. It's got a light up feature and a little bit of paint job. $85, yeah.
Yeah, I think at that point I would have been. Yeah, this thing would have been great. Even with the way the tentacles are kind of disappointing to play around with, it still would, if it lit up and looked cool on my shelf. Because the one thing we didn't really mention earlier is that in terms of scaling, next to the monster, it's not bad.
No, it's not.
So if you want to buy it and invest some time into it, you could probably get it to work really well with this to be kind of like a statue.
Yeah, actually, that's pretty close.
Yeah, to be kind of like a nice statue.
Oh, I like
to go
that.
along with. Like, you're not buying the Rose Biollante to play with it or do photos, but it's kind of there in your display just to kind of fill a role. More so than being something that's going to really accentuate it.
Yeah, that is true.
So, again, I can't really recommend this one to you guys at the price point. This is one of those ones, like, I'd wait till at least it's on a sale.
Oh, trust me, it will go on sale.
Because this definitely is too. I've seen a lot of people are like, oh, the Godzilla's hot garbage, but the Biollante's fine. And for me, I'm kind of in the reverse. I think the Godzilla's fine, but the Biollante isn't nearly worth what I paid for it.
I'll just be the middleman. We're both garbage. You're garbage.
But I want them to send us stuff.
Steve, they ain't gonna send us.
No, they're not.
Not after these reviews.
No, then to be honest, I think they have that Comic-Con one. I think that one's sweet. Like if it's this figure, but with like the Dark Horse coloring, the blood effect and stuff, that I'm fine paying $85 for that. I think that's pretty cool. And again, there's a lot here for me to like. More so than, like, there's a lot of things I don't like about this one. Although the only thing that's saving it is that it's a Rose Biollante and there's not that much representation.
Like, you guys have to see the difference just in weight alone. Like, this is crazy.
Like, am I going to sell the Rose Biollante?
I wouldn't.
Yeah, I was going to say, what's going to happen is it's going to end up with the Monster Arts hanging out with the Biollantes because there isn't a better representation. Now, when Monster Arts makes one, this thing will probably not stick around in my collection too much longer shortly thereafter.
But if you ever have free time, Steve, you can drill a hole, put a light in there, paint it.
Be honest, that's something I might do. I might actually mess around with it.
Yeah.
That's the only thing that kind of makes me a little hesitant because it's like I might hand on the Godzilla because it's a unique Godzilla toy.
Yeah.
So I still kind of want it. But with that being said, if they did more versions of Godzilla, unless this video does really good in views, probably not picking them up. So we'll have to wait and see.
I'm still 50-50 on Mogira. Which one comes out first, Mogira or the melting?
Melting.
So after melting, I will decide if I'm going to get...
I'd say if you want it, just pre-order it.
Pre-order it?
I would just pre-order it. I think at the price point, it'll be fine. And you're going to leave it in the box anyways. So.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, we might review it and put it back in the box.
I'm probably buying one anyway.
Are you?
Well, yeah, I got one on pre-order already because depending on how these videos do. No, these don't get that many views. We'll see. Because I don't need another Mogira in my life, but...
Like I said, I'll buy it off you $55. See, it's open.
I don't think that's how that works.
Shh, don't tell him, Dad.
So, yeah, but at that point, or price point, at $85, I don't want to mess with this. It's not like for instance, I like getting McFarlane Spawn figures and stuff because they're $20 and I don't feel bad messing around with them.
To be honest with you,
at $20.
It's like that Playmates Mecha Godzilla. Even the gigantic one, $20, you paint it and make it look good.
You can pay it. That thing looks pretty solid.
Yeah.
Even the way it sits, for what you paid for it, looks solid. I feel like this toy line in general is more geared towards people that like the vintage toys. It's not for the people that want like Monster Arts or something like a Haya. You're looking for something super articulated and something that looks close to the movie. This isn't the line for you. Yeah. This is more for people that like the Trendmasters, you like your Marmots, but you want something that you can play around with a little bit more. This is more your line. But granted,
the price though is not.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like for the Godzilla, I think he's fine. I don't feel bad for what I paid for it, but I think he could have been cheaper. Biollante, I hard recommend waiting for a sale.
Because, I mean...
At least wait for it to be a little cheaper.
If I paid $34 for this, $40, and it breaks, you know...
I think if they were both $55, I think I would have been... the Godzilla, I think I would have been like, this is pretty sweet. He's big, he's hefty, he comes with stuff. I like it. $85? You're pushing it. Biollante, there's no reason this shouldn't have been $55.
No, God, no. Hell no.
Like at $55, I think I would have been like... I would have been at the same point where I'm at with Godzilla, where I would have been like, it's fine, but I wouldn't have been happy about it. Like, this is already like a pretty easy contender for most disappointing figure. Now, granted, am I really surprised from what I saw from the prototypes? No. It's got this, like, comes with the same stuff. It's got the same look as what the prototype does.
It was pretty accurate.
I was kind of thinking it was going to feel more like him, where it's a very hefty figure still.
The problem is, though, Steve, that was a prototype. It's supposed to get better than that, not worse. Well, or stay the same.
Yeah, that's not usually how that works. Usually, even Monster Arts, the productions usually look a little different than what you get with the prototypes. Because the prototype's there to sell me the figure, and the production's what I end up with.
Yeah, that's true.
So it's not as accurate as the prototype, but it's not like there's nothing they hear that I'm like, oh, they like they lied to me. Like,
No.
yeah, it looks like what I pre-ordered. But again, like I said, there's just not enough here to really merit it. Like, even when I pre-ordered it, I was kind of hesitant. But because of what it is, I ended up grabbing it.
But you were like, it's Rose Biollante. I was like, that's gonna be awesome. Oh.
Yeah, it was more like just, it fills a niche in my collection that I kind of needed. And that's pretty much what it's here for. But anyways, let us know in the comment section below if you guys picked up the Rose Biollante, if you guys love the Super 7, if you guys don't like the Super 7s, let us know down there. If you guys also like to pick these up for yourself, link in the description for entertainment, or if you support the channel, get yourself some collectibles. If you don't want to get Super 7, they also have the Hiya, the new Monster Arts. Bandai vinyls, I think, are going to start showing up there at some point because they're going to be hitting stateside again. So look forward to that. And help us defeat those Kaijus by hitting the like button, subscribe, become a Ranger today. We also got Instagram, Patreon, Pinterest, Facebook. Guys, like give up the day with channel and donate. Greatly would appreciate it. Also got a Threads too. Anyway, see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.
That was a mouthful, Steve. Good job.
I can talk fast and you could sort of understand me.